Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today. Welcome along. I am today using a 9x12 background, white cardstock, and I'm going to create in a watercolor style. So sometimes if a kit or a paper collection gets a little bit overwhelming for me, what I do is I pick a color from that particular collection, and then in this case, I am going with this, I'm not going to call it yellow, I'm going to call it mustard. It is a distress oxide, and I'm just using my craft mat and I'm spreading the oxide ink firstly on the craft mat, then spraying it with water to activate it, and then placing my paper down on top. Now, what you'll get with this type of technique is this very individualized background. So it's never going to look the same, but it's a really cool technique to add color and give you just a base to work with. Now, I also like to add a little bit of color at my edges, and once I've got my solid background, go in a little bit more and add just a little bit more color. So this again is just layering. So if you've ever watched Tim Holtz use his distress ink collections, if you haven't, go and check out his YouTube videos, because he is just a legend at layering, and you'll see really how he goes about adding these inks and putting them on top of each other. In today's case, I'm just going to use the single colour, and I must apologise because I don't actually remember what colour it is, but I'm sure you can look up the Distress Oxide colour if that's something that you want to actually mimic. But again, you can do this same process with watercolors spread on your craft mat. You can do it with sprays. You can do it with acrylic paint that gets watered down with lots of water. So the trick is really to get a very sort of a wet background so that you can spread that color around to get this really interesting sort of watercolor background. Now, I chose the stripy paper because it had that little pop of mustard colour in it, and I thought that it would work quite well. I'm just seeing on the video now, so the colour is actually fossilised amber. And to add a couple of areas of interest, I'm going to use the stamp that came this month, and I'm going to actually stamp the exact same colour over the top. So this sort of stops it from being overwhelmed, but you're getting really nice texture in that background. So I think that this is quite a fun technique where you apply the colour and then stamp that same colour over the top. It's really fun to work with and gives you quite an interesting background. So I've actually torn the strip of patterned paper into this sort of diamond shape, and the reason I did this was twofold, because I didn't want too much of that pattern, so a square piece would have really been much too much for that background, and I wanted it to have quite rough edges so that it sort of looked like it blended in quite well. Now, this is a super cute little photo of Mr. Popeye, my little latest ginger addition to my house. And on this particular day, he decided he wasn't going to be too particular about where he slept, and he just slept all over my diamond art, which was quite fun and interesting. So he has now grown out of that, which is nice. He sleeps in more neutral spots, like on his cat tower and things like that. So but I snapped this quick photo, and I love that the colour of him in the photo sort of mimics that background, and it really sort of lends itself quite well to the way this came together. All right, you can see that I'm just tucking in a couple more little pattern pieces of paper. I'm having a look at the kit and the embellishments available to me, just to see how I want to actually finish this page. Because that background is sort of not so much the feature, but it's something that I want to keep in the forefront of the layout. I don't want to overwhelm it too much, but also not letting the photo get swallowed up by embellishments either. So just pulling out a few little bits and pieces from the kit that I think actually match in quite well. So we've got some of the little tags. Finding a title was a little bit of a challenge because the words are that came in the ephemera pack lend themselves quite well to card making, but there's not a lot of scrapbooking titles. But certainly this Hello, and when you add the journaling, it's quite easy to see how this all came together. So a couple of the little enamel dots, a few of the little puffy stickers as well. So once I'm happy with my background and satisfied that things are looking pretty good, I'm quite happy to add a few little embellishment pieces here and there. Having a bit of trouble finding my pen to write my journaling, and I do encourage you to include your journaling as well, because it's super important. So make sure at least that you write the subject and the date, even if it's just the year, to keep that memory. Finally, I'm going to add just a couple little sticker pieces, and then I'm going to call this layout complete. So thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed and you're inspired to have a little play with this sort of technique. And if you haven't already subscribed to Kitaholic Kits, please make sure you do. Happy scrapping!